This was the Queen of England. Every time she licked her lips, she was swallowing lead and mercury. And after she died, they lined her coffin with lead and still couldn't keep the smell in. We've all heard about toxic masculinity, but centuries before that phrase existed, history gave us something far more elegant and far more deadly. Toxic beauty. A beauty standard so powerful that women all over England poisoned themselves just to fit in. Queen Elizabeth I was the very first influencer in history, but her beauty came at a price because her signature look caused her teeth to rot out of her head, her face to melt, and her breath to smell like a sewer. This is the sick history behind Queen Elizabeth's Mask of Youth. Centuries before social media, before celebrity endorsements, and before reality TV, one woman controlled beauty trends to such a degree that her appearance reshaped an entire culture. But she didn't just post photos. She didn't endorse products. She didn't need to. Her face was enough. Queen Elizabeth I wasn't just a ruler. She was an image, and that image came at a cost no one fully understood, until it was too late. Elizabeth took the English throne in 1558, at a time when being a woman in power was considered a weakness. She wasn't immediately respected. She was young, she was unmarried, and she was surrounded by enemies. Foreign rulers questioned her authority, advisors pressured her to marry, and rivals waited for collapse. Elizabeth responded by doing something outside the box. She turned herself into a symbol, a celebrity, an influencer. Her appearance became carefully controlled. Every public showing was deliberate. Every outfit was designed to project power, status, and permanence. She understood that if people believed in the image, they would believe in the authority behind it. And nothing mattered more to her than her face. Elizabeth's appearance quickly became iconic. Her skin was unnaturally white and smooth. Her lips were a thick, deep red. Her hair glowed like fire with her fancy wigs. Her clothing was stiff and over the top. It was designed less for comfort and more for intimidation. She looked like the type of woman you wouldn't want to argue with. She looked powerful and influential. Her face became a model of beauty, with no blemishes, no scars, and no aging. Just pure perfection. And perfection, as it turns out, came at a cost. The centerpiece of Elizabeth's brand was her legendary white skin. In the Tudor era, being tan meant you were a peasant that performed manual labor in the sun. But being pale meant you were wealthy, elite, and pure. To achieve this, Elizabeth used a product she called Venetian Ceruse. But as your certified sick historian, I call it the Venetian curse. Elizabeth reportedly began using Ceruse heavily after contracting smallpox in 1562. She survived, but the sickness left her face a map of deep, pitted scars. For a woman whose power depended on her appearance, this was a political death sentence. She didn't just need makeup, she needed a new face. But the price was steep. Venetian Ceruse wasn't just a fancy name. It was a high-end product imported from Italy and widely admired throughout Europe. And it worked beautifully. It covered scars, even skin tone, and created a brilliant white finish that no other powder could match. Elizabeth loved it. It gave her that iconic smooth porcelain glow that we know her for today. It made her look like a marble statue that had come to life. Venetian Ceruse gave Queen Elizabeth the kind of beauty that took an entire continent by storm. But what they didn't know at the time is that it was slowly killing the women who wore it. Because the secret behind it was vinegar and white lead, and that was a deadly combination. Lead is a silent killer, and as the Queen applied this foundation to her face every morning, the toxins were absorbed directly into her bloodstream. Lead poisoning doesn't kill you fast. It rots you from the inside out. It causes your hair to fall out in clumps. It causes your skin to gray and shrivel. It gives you something called lead palsy, which makes your hands shake and your mind wander into a state of irritability and paranoia. But here's the twist I didn't see coming. The more the lead destroyed her skin, the more she had to use it to hide the damage. So by the end of her life, she wasn't wearing makeup. She was wearing a literal mask of lead that she reportedly wouldn't wash off for weeks at a time. And this is where toxic beauty becomes a horror movie. Lead poisoning causes a condition called skin atrophy. It turned her natural complexion into a sickly pale gray. But Elizabeth couldn't stop. To hide the gray, she applied the lead thicker. To hide the thinning skin, she added more layers to it. By the 50s, she wasn't just putting on makeup, she was plastering herself, as if she were patching holes in drywall with a putty knife. When she would finally wash it off, sometimes once every couple of weeks, the skin would peel away with the makeup. She was literally losing her face to save her image. To get those vibrant, blood red lips, Elizabeth used something called Cinnabar. It was a mineral-based pigment that looked stunning in portraits, but this product also came at a cost, because Cinnabar was made of mercury sulfide. So every time the queen licked her lips or ate a meal, she was ingesting pure mercury. And if you want to know what mercury does to a human being, just Google the phrase "mad as a hatter." It causes tremors and memory loss, but physically, it's even worse. Mercury rots the gums, it turns the teeth black, and it makes them fall out. To maintain her iconic look in public, she would reportedly stuff rolls of cloth into her cheeks to keep them from looking sunken and hollow. She was literally a human puppet, held together by rags and toxic paint. All she needed was the strings. As the years passed, Elizabeth's appearance became more controlled. She aged, but the public never saw it. Her portraits showed the same smooth face decade after decade. Wrinkles were forbidden, and any signs of illness was erased. The artists who painted her too realistically were corrected, or worse. Elizabeth understood the rules of being an influencer. Once people buy into the image, you can never break it. Sound familiar? We see this every day in Hollywood. Behind the scenes, though, the cost was adding up. Historical records suggest that Elizabeth suffered from thinning hair that would fall out in clumps, which explains her heavy reliance on wigs. Her skin reportedly cracked beneath the layers of makeup. Her teeth darkened, a common result of lead exposure combined with a heavy sugar diet that was common among royalty at the time. Some historians believe she experienced neurological symptoms consistent with chronic poisoning. In 1603, a group of frantic women stood outside the bedchamber of the most powerful woman in the world. And they weren't just mourning, they were terrified, because the Queen of England was dead. Queen Elizabeth died at the age of 69, which was an insanely good lifespan for that era. She left behind a stable kingdom and a legendary reign. She also paved a beauty culture that valued perfection over health and appearance over reality, something we still see heavily in pop culture today. But when the physicians and embalmers finally approached the body to prepare it for burial, they encountered something they didn't expect. They didn't find the porcelain skin goddess seen in the royal portraits. They found a woman whose body looked like a crime scene. As they attempted to remove her clothing and the heavy layers of white paste from her face, the skin didn't just wash clean. It peeled away in gray, dead patches. Her hair was gone. Her breath, even in death, carried the scent of rotting meat. Her gums were blackened, and her face was a landscape of deep, pitted scars. The public saw a woman who was immortal, but the people in that room saw the truth. The queen hadn't just died. She had been eaten alive by her own beauty. The toxic beauty standard didn't stop when her heart did. After she died in 1603, her body was so saturated with lead, mercury, and the gases of her own internal decay that the pressures became a physical threat. Witnesses reported hearing a crack like a musket shot in the middle of the night. The gases had built up so much that her lead-lined coffin and the body inside actually ruptured. She spent her whole life trying to preserve a perfect, untouchable image, but in the end, the very chemicals she used to look immortal were the things that made her leave this world with a bang. This isn't legend. This is sick history.